Hey everybody, this is Jen from Garden Jen's Journey. Today we're going to take a walk around the garden and show you what has happened in the last few weeks. Right now we're looking at a major brush pile. I have a bunch of it, goes all the way back there. This is from my husband's landscaping business. We had some major flooding and things in the area, and so he's been doing a lot of cleanup for customers, and while it all gets dumped here. What's awesome about it is we have this makeshift box here. He is going to be chipping all this up, and the wood chips are going to go in our garden, so we're excited about that. We don't waste things. I mean, we could have easily just burned this or something, but we're actually going to chip it up and use it as mulch in our gardens. Alright, and moving on. These are our chickens that we've been raising. They're 21 weeks old now. We do have 3 of them so far that have started laying eggs. The others should follow suit shortly. They think I'm going to bring in a treat or something, so they're all sitting right here wondering what Mama's going to bring in. I'm going to show you back here. That's our rooster. That's little Robert there. He's not so little anymore. Beautiful guy. And then back there is our group of Brahmas and Americanas. And if you can see, we have a rooster there too. And that's Mr. Butterball. My son named him. He's not a turkey, but he'll get almost as big as a turkey. And so my son just named him Mr. Butterball. But anyway, so that's our chickens. And then the back there, see if I can zoom in a little bit. I know it gets blurry when I zoom in. Are my ducks. They're sleeping right now, which is kind of interesting. I have 4 Pekin ducks. Alright, and as far as gardening goes, we'll start out here. Under these crates, I have dogs who like to eat my plants, so they're covered with crates right now. I have cucumbers, and the cucumbers are going to grow up this fence here. I have mesh along the bottom here that was to prevent the chickens getting out and varmints getting in. But it'll also prevent the chickens eating my plants until they're up too high for the chickens to eat. So I have cucumbers there. This is my glass gem corn, and you can see it's doing really well. I've had people worry about it being planted so densely because corn is known to be a nutrient hog. But you can see they're doing just fine. And then over here, I have, this is buttercup squash, and the same thing, it's going to grow up the chicken fencing here, and it'll be a great arbor. And then over there with the ducks, I have some watermelon. Same thing, it's going to grow up along, or it's going to grow along the fencing there. Alright, this is the rose garden here. I had a lot of blooms just a little bit ago, but my roses got hit with blight. We had a lot of flooding, and so now I have water issues like what's it called, the spot and things like that, a blight kind of thing. So I've had to treat them and prune them really heavy to get rid of the blight. So that's why it looks a little bare right now. But everything else is doing really well. In the back there you can see potatoes and things that are growing. I'll take you over there in a minute. And then the bee balm this year has flowers. That's beautiful. So, and I'll just take you around. This is my medicinal herb garden. I have the lemon balm here. This lemon balm was actually 3 times this size, but I harvested a lot to dry it, and so it's a little bit smaller, but it's coming back. And a bunch of other herbs going on. And these are my potatoes. And then in the potatoes I also have squash. Yeah, it's both squash over here. And they're going to grow up this trellis. You might notice that my gate tunnel here, my arbor, has gotten longer. We've added more panels, and we're going to add a couple more because we've got squash that's going to be growing up these. And then more herbs. That's really filling in nicely. And my celery and beets and carrots and rutabagas are all in this spot. I also have some sage. My fennel, this is the first time I grew fennel this year. It's really pretty. It's about time to harvest that one. So, and then I have pole beans back there. They're a little slow, but they're starting to take off. And tucked under there I have cucumbers. The buckwheat is starting to seed up, so it's really nice. I brought in more flowers for our pollinator friends and beneficial insects. These were on clearance at a big box store, so I grabbed quite a few of them just to add more color and bring in more of the pollinators. So this is more of the growth that's going on. These are Black Beauty tomatoes. They're a rare tomato, and at first it took a while for them to take off, but they're really starting to take off now. I do have a couple of the flowers covered because I want to keep those pollinated with just the Black Beauty, because I have quite a few other tomatoes in here. But since these are rare, I want to make sure that I can save seeds from a true tomato and not one that got crossed with another tomato in our garden. So that's what the white is. Then lots of milkweed. This is throughout the garden, and yes, it is a weed, but here in Michigan and some other places, this is a very important plant for the monarch butterfly. It's the only plant that monarchs will eat on, that they will put their cocoons on for reproduction. And so we leave this alone. As long as it's not competing with any other plants, we leave this here because it's very beneficial to the ecosystem. So that's what those are. And they're actually quite pretty too. If you just let them be, their flowers are gorgeous. And then my potatoes. I've had some people talk about their potatoes that they've had in tires that aren't doing so well, but their tires were stacked really high. My tires are just one tire high. It's basically just to mark the plant and to hold it in the straw, because I grow my potatoes in straw. So, but anyways, they're only one level high, and you can see my potatoes are doing really well. I've got some over there that have flowered out, so they're getting pollinated. These are my beans. They weren't looking so well last time I did the video, but now you can see they filled in nicely. And my kale bed. This is one of my tomato beds with the celery and things, and it's really starting to look lush and things. It's not as bare as it was last time. Then more carrots and things. My peanuts, they're doing really well. So excited to finally see some growth there. And then I've got some yellow squash here, it's a little slow. Some eggplants and stuff, and then my strawberry bed back there. These sunflowers were planted by some chipmunks or squirrels or something, but we just left them alone. And you can see, and it's really neat because I don't see it very often, these sunflowers are facing the sun. Just yesterday before I went to bed, they're actually facing towards where I am now, towards the camera. But as you can see, they rotate to the sun. So it's really, really cool to watch them. And then this was my leaf lettuce bed. But as the leaf lettuces were done for the season, I pulled a lot of them out, left some to go to seed so I can collect those seeds. But then I have tomatoes and things in here that will take over the space. So that's what's going on there. I have beans. They're not doing too well yet, but we'll see. And then my rutabagas and turnips and Brussels sprouts and onions and a bunch of stuff going on in here. You can see this area is filled out nicely. I have my basil finally planted here. It's really happy right now. My peas, they're not doing as good as I'd like them to do, but this is the first time that they were planted in this particular spot this year. So next year I'll amend the soil a little bit more, and they should do a lot better. The peas that we get, they don't taste the best. They're kind of bitter, so my chickens actually get those. But we're letting them grow because the buds and everything is food for bees and things like that. And like I said, I do feed my chickens off this, so it's not a complete waste for those plants to be there. And then I can't even remember what this is called right now. Rhubarb. It's early in the morning here. Anyways, these plants were really huge. I just pruned them back to give them some more air circulation and promote growth. I do have some sun damage there, but overall they're doing really well. More tomatoes. And over here I have in my greenhouse I have my peppers. I keep them in there during cool days because the greenhouse really keeps a good temperature, and then on hot days I bring them out here so they don't cook in the greenhouse. Then I got zucchini going on, cabbage, and you can see I have lots of flowers that I've planted in the garden too as well. Pie pumpkin, and it's gonna be growing up this trellis here. And then we got pole beans that's growing up here. I even took some space next to my walking path here. These are regular beans, bush beans. And then the junk pile that was back here, if you guys go back a couple videos, you'll notice this was a huge junk pile. It's now gone. And so my elderberries have definite room to grow. They're starting to put the flowers out, which is great. I'll have to cover them soon because they'll be producing those elderberries that we like so much, so the birds don't eat them. And then we have squash as well, and the squash will grow up along our wood pile here. And then we have squash, they'll grow along the chicken coop here. Over there in the moundy area, we have watermelon planted along that, and that'll grow all over the lawn back here. And so the lawn will also get used for vegetables this year, because all of our squash plants that we can't grow up on trellises, they're going to grow out here in this open space in the lawn, and they won't damage the lawn, so it'll just be something we don't have to mow. And then last but not least is my container garden back here. We had quite a bit of flooding a couple weeks ago with lots and lots of rain, so I did lose some of my crops. They kind of washed out of the container beds with all the flooding, but we replanted. And as you can see, things are growing well back here. So we got lots of stuff going on, but it's getting there. So this is what the garden's looking like. This is the update. And as always, I hope that your gardening adventure's being blessed, and I'll share more updates as they come. Have a great day, everybody. This is Jen from Garden Jen's Journey. Bye-bye now.